Hey everyone, I've been lurking here for a while but never thought I'd be that guy posting my own story. But here I am, broken, furious, but finally seeing things clearly. Let me set the stage. I, 33M, have been married to my wife Lauren, 32F, for 5 years. We've been together for 8. High school sweethearts turned life partners, or so I thought. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple. And for a long time, I believed it too. Lauren has always been a little sharp. She's beautiful, no doubt, but she's got this cold, sarcastic edge. The type who can tear you apart with a single look or sentence. I used to laugh it off, thought it was her being fiery. Looking back, I realize I mistook cruelty for wit. There were always little signs, the way she rolled her eyes at me in front of others, how she'd flirt with guys just a bit too much and then call me insecure if I said anything. But I loved her. God help me, I really did. Then there's my best friend, Evan. We've been boys since freshman year of college. He's the type of guy everyone likes, easygoing, funny, good with people. I trusted him with everything. He was my best man at our wedding. We've watched each other grow through jobs, relationships, and heartbreaks. The first sign that something was off came a few months ago. Lauren started acting cold, not just distant, but dismissive. Snapping at me over small things, picking fights that made no sense. She started dressing up more when Evan came over. At first I didn't think much of it. He's my best friend. She's my wife. What could go wrong, right? Well, one Friday, I got off work a little early. Decided I'd surprise Lauren with takeout and a bottle of wine. Maybe try to reconnect, talk, do something normal. I didn't tell her I was coming home early, figured the surprise would be a nice change of pace. I walked through the door and immediately heard laughter from the kitchen. Her laugh. His laugh. I stood in the hallway for a second, confused. Then I turned the corner and I'll never forget the sight. Lauren. On the kitchen counter. Evan between her legs. Her legs wrapped around him. Both of them shirtless. Both of them so wrapped up in each other they didn't even hear me come in. I froze. My brain shut down. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. I backed out slowly, quietly, like I was in a dream I couldn't wake up from. That was the moment everything shattered. So yeah. I saw everything. My wife, practically naked. My best friend, all over her. In my house. In my goddamn kitchen, the place we made meals together, celebrated birthdays, toasted anniversaries. And they didn't even notice me. I stood there for a few more seconds like a ghost in my own home, heart pounding in my chest like a war drum. I should have screamed. Should have beat the crap out of Evan right then and there. Should have flipped the counter. But I didn't. I quietly turned, walked back out the front door, and drove away. I don't know what came over me, but I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even shake. I felt calm. Cold. Like my body had gone into revenge mode on autopilot. I drove to a nearby park, sat on a bench, and stared into space for hours. My phone buzzed. It was Lauren. Hey babe, just made pasta, where are you? I didn't respond. I knew if I confronted them in that moment, they'd spin it. Lauren would lie. Evan would deflect. I wouldn't get the truth, and they'd have time to clean up their tracks. But if I played it smart, I could burn them both to the ground. And that's when I decided I was going to get proof. First, I started acting normal, distant, but not suspicious. I told Lauren work was hectic and I needed to crash at my brother's for a few nights. Gave her space. Let her think she'd gotten away with it. Meanwhile, I set up a camera in the kitchen, tucked behind a row of cookbooks. I installed a second one in the guest room, just in case. And then I waited. Lauren didn't know that I was slowly building my case. Every time Evan came over, I'd get pinged. And yeah, I saw plenty. Them laughing. Kissing. Her in a bathrobe while he massaged her shoulders like he owned the place. My best friend. My wife. And the kicker? One night, she poured 2 glasses of wine and toasted to getting away with it. I nearly threw my phone through the wall. But I held on. Because now, I had everything I needed. So, I had my evidence. Hours of footage. Dates. Times. Audio. My wife and my best friend turning my home into their sleazy little playground. I could have just sent her the videos and dipped. But no, that would have been too easy. Too civil. She wanted drama? She wanted lies? She was gonna get a front row seat to her own downfall. So I picked a Friday. Fitting, since that was the day I first caught them. I texted Lauren around 5 p.m. Hey babe, thought I'd surprise you. Just picked up wine and tie. Be home in 15. She replied. Ah. You're sweet. Can't wait, red heart. She had no idea I knew. No clue what was coming. I parked a block away, snuck in through the back door quietly. I still had a key to the fence gate. I heard voices in the kitchen. His voice. Her laugh. Like clockwork. I burst in. Evan was sitting at the kitchen table, barefoot, drinking a beer. Lauren was in one of my shirts, grinning like she hadn't just ripped my heart out weeks ago. They both jumped like they'd seen a ghost. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I walked right up to Evan and punched him in the face. One hit. Straight to the nose. He fell backwards over the chair, blood pouring from his nostrils. Lauren screamed and ran to him like I was the villain. Then she turned to me and said the wildest thing I've ever heard in my life. Are you serious right now? You're overreacting. Overreacting. I laughed. Actually laughed. Pulled out my phone, opened a video, and hit play. There they were. On screen. Her on his lap. In this kitchen. She went pale. Evan started stammering. Bro, it's not what it looks like. I cut him off. Save it. I've got over 8 hours of not what it looks like. This is just the highlight reel. Lauren's voice cracked. So what, you spied on me? You planted cameras? That's illegal. Oh no, sweetheart. It's our house. My name's on everything. You gave up your rights the moment you invited a guest to you on our kitchen counter. She tried to spin it again, crying now, reaching for my arm. Wait, just let me explain, it's complicated. It's not. You're just a liar. Then I pulled out the envelope, a printed copy of the divorce papers and a USB stick with the footage. You'll be served on Monday. And Evan? Don't ever show your face around here again. Hope she was worth it. And I walked out. So, after dropping the bomb, I walked out like a man on fire, calm on the outside, but absolutely scorched inside. I spent the weekend at my brother's place, figuring I'd finally have some peace. Nope. By Saturday morning, Lauren had lost it. I woke up to 37 missed calls and 14 texts. Everything from I made a mistake, please talk to me. To You're throwing everything away over one stupid thing? Grow up. And my personal favorite. Everyone's going to think you cheated. You ambushed me. You're insane. Insane? Nah. I was just getting started. By Monday, I made sure the divorce paperwork was filed and I CC'd her parents, who love me like their own son, just for good measure. I also sent them the footage. Yes, it was petty. No, I don't regret it. Her dad, who once told me if I ever hurt his daughter, he'd bury me, actually called to apologize. Said he was disgusted. Her mom cried. Apparently Lauren had spun some fake narrative that we'd grown apart and were on a break. Right. Evan? Radio silence. Coward didn't even try to reach out after I broke his nose. Mutual friends started texting me in shock. Apparently Lauren had been telling people for months that I was cold, distant, and emotionally unavailable, laying the groundwork so she could justify what she was doing. Classic cheater move. But the part that really made me laugh? She posted on Facebook like a full-on, open letter claiming she was blindsided by a controlling, manipulative husband who didn't understand her needs. Said I violated her privacy and emotionally abused her with surveillance. I commented one thing under her post. Funny how you weren't so concerned about privacy when you were naked in our kitchen with my best friend. Want me to upload the footage or just send it to everyone in this thread? 10 minutes later, the post was gone. So was her account. You'd think after getting exposed, dumped, disowned by her parents, and humiliated online, Lauren would lay low, right? Wrong. She doubled down. She tried to spin a narrative that I was the one who pushed her into Evan's arms, said I was emotionally unavailable, always working, didn't make her feel alive. Blah blah blah. The usual garbage cheaters say when they get caught with their pants down, literally. But here's the thing. I wasn't interested in playing defense. I was ready to go full offense. First stop, Evan. Turns out, Evan had a fiancée. Yep. Her name was Jessica. Sweet girl. I'd met her a few times, never really talked much, but she always seemed polite. They'd been engaged for about a year. Wedding was scheduled for September. So I sent her a message. No anger. No drama. Just a Dropbox link labeled. You should probably see this before you marry him. The footage spoke for itself. 2 hours later, Jessica replied with a single line. Thank you. 3 days later, Evan's engagement was officially over. Next up, mutual friends. I didn't even have to say anything. Once the story came out, the video proof, the broken engagement, the fake Facebook meltdown, everyone saw Lauren and Evan for who they really were. They lost every social circle we shared. Birthday invites? Gone. Group vacations? Excluded. Friends who once worshipped Evan suddenly wanted nothing to do with him. And Lauren? Let's just say her reputation didn't survive the fallout. But the final cherry on top? There was a community cookout in our neighborhood, kind of a block party thing. I showed up with my head held high, wearing a clean button-up and the biggest grin I could fake. And who do I bump into? Jessica. She gave me a hug and whispered, "You saved me." Thank you. Then she walked away, and guess who showed up 5 minutes later, clearly not expecting me to be there? Lauren. Her face went white. She tried to smile. I raised my drink and said, "Lauren, you look exactly the same. Hope Evan's doing well." Oh, wait. She turned and walked away. It was delicious. So here's the thing no one tells you after you go full revenge mode and torch your cheating ex and backstabbing best friend. You still have to live with the ashes. After the cookout, after the messages of "you did the right thing" and "bro, I would have done worse," I went home, sat on my couch, and just felt empty. Like totally hollowed out. The adrenaline was gone. The fury had faded. I'd won, right? I blew it all up. Everyone knew the truth. I was vindicated. But I wasn't okay. The silence in the house was deafening. That kitchen, our kitchen, still smelled faintly of her perfume. Her favorite mug was still in the cabinet. Her hairbrush sat on the bathroom counter like she'd be back any minute. She wasn't coming back. And suddenly, that reality hit me like a freight train. I'd spent years with Lauren. Built a life. A future. I knew all her favorite songs, how she liked her coffee, what side of the bed she slept on. I loved her. Even if she turned into someone I didn't recognize by the end. I loved her. And she didn't even hesitate to throw it away. That night, I broke down. Like full on, ugly cried into a throw pillow kind of breakdown. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours wondering what I did wrong. Was I too distant? Was I boring? Did I miss something? The betrayal doesn't just shatter your trust in others. It wrecks your trust in yourself. Because I'd chosen her. I let her in. I believed her lies. And the worst part? I didn't see it coming. Grief is weird. I wasn't mourning her. I was mourning the version of her I thought existed. And that guy Evan? I had trusted him with everything. He knew my insecurities. My family. My damn Netflix password. They weren't just cheaters. They were thieves. They stole my peace, my time, my heart, and left me to sweep up the shards alone. After that emotional crash, I knew I couldn't keep living in that wreckage. Every corner of that house reminded me of betrayal, not just Lauren's, but Evan's too. The silence felt like it was mocking me. So I made the first real move toward healing. I got the hell out of that house. Rented a small one-bedroom downtown, nothing fancy. Just something mine. No shared memories, no creaky floors where she used to walk barefoot, no ghosts of stolen moments. Packing was brutal. I boxed up wedding photos with shaking hands. Found birthday cards from her stuffed in drawers. One even said, "I'll love you forever." I laughed bitterly and tossed it in the trash. The first few nights in the new place were rough. But slowly, I started to breathe again. I wasn't waiting for the front door to open. I wasn't bracing for lies. I could sit on my own couch and not wonder who else had been there. And then, something unexpected happened. Jessica, Evan's ex-fiancée, reached out again. Not in a romantic way, not at first. Just a simple, "Hey, hope you're doing okay. Want to grab coffee sometime and swap war stories?" So we did. We met up at this quiet little cafe tucked away from everything. At first, it was just venting. We joked about their soulmate affair and laughed about how similar our stories were. But then the conversation turned real. We talked about how it really felt. Not just the anger, but the embarrassment. The doubt. The way betrayal makes you question everything about who you are. That one coffee turned into two. Then a walk in the park. Then drinks. Before I knew it, we were talking or texting every day. Jessica got it. She was the only person who truly understood what I was going through, because she was right there in the fire with me. No expectations. No pressure. Just this weird, beautiful sense of mutual healing. It wasn't love, not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was connection. It was trust, slowly rebuilt. It was a reason to smile again. And for the first time since everything blew up, I felt lighter. So, after months of lawyers, signatures, and back-and-forth emails where she tried to fight me over throw pillows and a damn toaster, the divorce was finally finalized. Clean cut. I kept the house and sold it. She got her car and, well, her dignity was already gone, so not much else to take. I thought it would feel like the final breath after being underwater for too long, and in a way, it did. But I also felt this weird wave of grief again, not for her, but for everything I thought I was building. Closure is messy like that. And then, she texted me. Out of the blue. Just 2 words. "Can we talk?" I stared at it for a solid 5 minutes, thumb hovering over the screen, deciding whether to open that door. Curiosity got the better of me. I responded. "Talk about what?" She replied. "Everything. I made a mistake. I miss you." Of course she did. I didn't respond right away. I waited a day, let her stew in her own desperation. Then I agreed to meet in public, where she couldn't pull any of her old emotional blackmail tricks. We met at a neutral coffee shop. She walked in wearing that fake sweet expression she used to use on waiters. Sat across from me like nothing had happened. She opened with, "You look good. Happier. Healthier." I didn't thank her. Then she launched into this whole speech about how Evan was a mistake, how she was confused, how she didn't realize how much she valued me until she lost me. Classic script. I stayed quiet, just letting her dig the hole deeper. Finally, she said, "I think we could fix this. Maybe even start fresh?" I smiled. Not because I was happy, because it was hilarious. This woman torched our marriage, tried to play the victim, publicly, and now she wanted a second chance? So I leaned in and said, "You didn't lose me, Lauren. You threw me away. And just because no one else wants to dig through your trash doesn't mean I'm going to." I left my untouched coffee on the table and walked out. Never looked back. She texted me one last time that night. "You'll regret this one day." She was wrong. I slept like a baby. After that final meeting with Lauren, something shifted inside me. Not in a dramatic Hollywood kind of way, just quietly. I felt free. For real this time. Like I could finally start thinking about my future without her shadow looming over it. I focused on rebuilding. I poured myself into work, picked up new hobbies, started cooking. Turns out I'm not too bad when there isn't betrayal simmering on the stove, hit the gym regularly, and finally took that solo hiking trip I always wanted to do but she claimed was too boring. And Jessica and I? We kept talking. Still no labels, still no pressure. Just two people helping each other patch up the holes in our hearts. We started hanging out more, museums, game nights, even a spontaneous road trip that was half disaster, half perfect. But here's where things got really unexpected. A few months later, Jessica invited me to her cousin's wedding as her plus one. I figured, why not? I hadn't been to a wedding since mine, and maybe it was time to put that ghost to bed. The ceremony was beautiful. The couple was clearly in love. The vows actually made me feel something, which I didn't expect. But what really caught me off guard was halfway through the reception when Jessica leaned over and said, "You know, I think I'm ready to try this. You and me." My heart stopped for a second. I wasn't sure what this meant exactly, but I knew one thing. I wanted it too. So I said, "Yeah. Me too." And just like that, something started. Not a rebound. Not a trauma bond. Something real. Something earned. The huge surprise? Loving again, trusting again, after being betrayed that deeply, it is possible. But only after you stop trying to glue the old pieces back together. Looking back, it's wild how much can change in such a short time. From walking in on the woman I loved screwing my best friend in my kitchen, to rebuilding my life and finding something real with someone who actually values honesty, it feels like I've lived a whole second life. So here's what I've learned the hard way. 1. Trust your gut. The signs were there. Her mood swings. Her sudden distance. The weird lies about staying late working. I wanted so badly to believe the best in her that I ignored the worst right in front of me. 2. Don't play therapist to someone who's gaslighting you. She lied to my face and made me feel like I was the crazy one. That kind of manipulation is poison. If someone repeatedly makes you doubt your reality, you need to walk away fast. 3. Revenge isn't healing, but it can be cathartic. I won't pretend the birthday barbecue with the exposed texts wasn't petty. It was. But it was also the moment I took back my power. Don't live in revenge, but don't be afraid to let the truth shine either. 4. People who cheat lack character, not opportunity. It wasn't about Evan being some irresistible guy. It was about her being the kind of person who could look me in the eyes and still betray me. Cheating is never just a mistake. It's a choice. 5. You can love again. This one took time. But the heart heals. Trust rebuilds. There are good people out there, people who won't use your love as a doormat. Jessica helped me see that. And my advice to anyone going through something similar? Don't settle for someone who treats loyalty like an option. Walk away with your dignity. Cry, scream, grieve, but don't beg. Don't try to win back someone who didn't mind losing you. You're not broken. You're not unlovable. You were just with the wrong person. Now, I've got peace. I've got honesty. I've got someone who texts me just to say they're proud of me. And best of all, I've got me back.